we're gonna be discussing like the MCP, that was like a hot topic actually. It's really I've been creating a lot of articles and videos about this topic, and I really get like some of my articles is getting quite popular and viral as well. And in this presentation, I would like to and like highlight some titles, and I pick up the most like interesting or most questions by the AI developers. Like we will be like discussing in the first one, like what is MCP, and then we will move to what is different between MCP and function calling, and then when to use a function call and the MCP, and which the most interesting part like is the RAG and the MCP and the agent, how we can combine all of them to create such powerful AI agentic. And also I would be demonstrate like how to use a LangChain, MCP, and RAG. Then we can have real and solid AI chatbot. We'll be using a web scraping to scrape all information from the internet, and then will be retrieved through a RAG by all this kind of technique inside the MCP. And also, I would like to give some brief introductions, like about myself, my background, my education, my contribution in the AI project, and also my current projects as well. And my background as like you will see when you see like the Chinese name, like almost the people they will think I am from China, like from the Asian background. But actually I'm not. I'm just like I've been like born in Morocco in the small city in the north of Morocco, where I have my background, like my little background, like about mathematics, physics, and all this kind of stuff. I graduated like from a high school and with a degree in the science and the earth. And then like I decided like to study a technology and computer science as well. And I will be more interested in the programming and building a cool project. And then I decided to move to Taiwan, which my journey start. It start with a lot of hard working, a lot of suffering, and I was the only guy, a foreigner who studied with the Taiwanese. They are really super in mathematics, and they are really good programmer and design architectures and all this kind of stuff, right? And then I came up with the idea to start like how I can help myself and help other people like through the education and spread the informations. And I start to learn about the AI. But the reason why I moved to the AI is because it was the lack of the money. And the money was like motivations to learn and improving my skills and all this kind of stuff. My first video, like my first article, like I started to using it like in my 30 years anniversary, like when I discovered about LangChain. One of my guy, like the guy that I was working with, like as a freelancer, he introduced LangChain for me, and it was like a big door for me in the AI. And I started exploring like LangChain step by step. I learning, like writing. Nothing is good, like nothing is good. Nothing is not perfect. I just like want to learn something, and I write it no matter what happened, no matter what the people is gonna say. Just write. It keep improving through our process, and then I start to develop it. And also, I've been contributing a lot of projects. Like also, I've been working with toward AI. If you see, they have been launching the course. I was the guy also involved in, and also I've been creating the. If you go to check my GitHub, you will see what I've been integrating them toward AI courses. I've been helping them to like to fine tune in the embeddings and also creating like some tutorials about embeddings as well. And also I work with some companies in China as well, which they are OpenKG. If you know this, a powerful algorithm in knowledge graph as well. Uh, as well, like also in my side, I was hustling. Like I've been creating like more than 100 projects in my Medium. Like all the articles and the videos that I've been creating. Like it's over the 100. Like from the beginning of the AI, just there was simple steps like prompting to onto the advanced RAG. And also like my current project, if you give me a chance to what I was like working on, I to be honest, I make it like special for that. I've been creating like a SaaS product, and I just finished it today, which I've been using like the API like with open source, not using open AI, but using open source. And also like if you can use this API, it's really useful instead of using open AI. It's like open AI has high quality like generated images, but when it's on the open source, it also has high quality and like compatible to open AI, and it's really good. Oh, how I can let me
Sorry, what is
like
the question?
you see my screen or not?
Yes, I can see the screen.
Oh, yes, man. Like, uh, like I've been creating this projects like for like Next.js, and I've been making everything front end and also back end, and some agents and API as well. I will give you to take a look, and then from there you kind of move to the next. It will take like a bit of time, but it will be quick. If like if you see this website, you've been following me on LinkedIn, like on the Twitter as well. I've been posting my journey about how I create this website. Actually, this website just like take me like almost like 10 days to create this website. Basically, this website is like generated like the popular trending images, like from original one to animation on the cartoon, like pictures. And I've been like developing all this kind of stuff with like exploring the glory and all, and also like the photos, and also if we go to the generation and was only for one function APIs, like only support only one feature. It's like is that's the way like how I starting to create an AI SaaS product. And you see, it's like the feature like for the API where you can upload your files, you can upload your photo, and then the photo is gonna be like anything you want, like just like do a random stuff like quick my uh, okay, like if you like you upload your photos, and then when you click in a generative, it will hit the API, and that's the API been using a replicate. The replicate is just like open source, like much cheaper than OpenAI, where the people they will deploy the open source like the open source model, and then you can use the API like to use any model you want. And if you that's it will take like a few seconds or maybe 1 minute, it's depend, and then they will generate to the cartoon on the animation style, and then you will be seeing it here, and then you have a chance to upload it, like you will be showing in here like as you see like it's it's kind of it like look like kind of like aware a bit because the quality of the image, but the concept is there if you see. And I'm still gonna develop more products, but and also like more AI sets. If you are interested in all this kind of stuff, I am open like to like we can create any SaaS product or anything that we kind of like learn from each other, and then we kind of share it like through our platform, like and there is more projects we kind of work on it together. And then we move to MCP. MCP is the the hot topic actually. And let's see. Okay, like the MCP, like any guys, do you have any idea about MCP before we start? Do you have any idea about MCP? Anyone would like to share any thoughts before we start? Like, do you have any idea about MCP?
Yeah, I did read about it. I have not created my own MCP server yet.
Uh, like, there is anyone want to write something in the chat? Like, do you have any background about MCP? Like, do you know anything about MCP? Then from there we can start.
I can share a little bit as a like a user who's starting
Yes.
to use MCP. The first thing I noticed is that you have to configure it using a JSON file, which is not the most, I would say it's not the most user-friendly way to to introduce someone to a new thing. But I think for the tech people with tech background, it's not that complicated to get started. But uh, I think it can be very powerful. We read it. I read a lot about it in the news and in the announcements. I haven't, aside from like a web debug MCP that I used, I haven't used a lot of it. Curious
Oh,
what others think.
okay. Like, but okay. What date? Like, do you think we use MCP as a JSON file to excuse like the some actions? Do you think like that?
No, I just mean the initial setup, like to
Ah, the measures.
introduce to add
Oh,
a MCP uh, server,
okay, okay.
the initial step. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Is there is anyone you want to share something about MCP before we I've been discussing about that? Yes, if you are speaking of MCP, yes. Like it's the API. Okay. Let's be like the MCP, like let me start like that. When I start to write my articles, like usually I will go to Twitter, like social media, to show like to research for like what happened in the AI news. And this time, like I see the MCP, it's been launching by cloud on November 26th, like 2024, right? And I feel shocked. Like I was like trying to build some apps, right? And these apps, like always, like they have one big problem. They are isolated from the external data, right? I know, like at this time it was function call, but we are looking for something better, right? I'm not gonna say for now it's like function call is better than MCP, but let's see and we see, and then we can discuss which one is better, right? So I want to create the chatbot, but my chatbot cannot like access the external data. But I want a many, not only one API. I want a many, and many API. You need really powerful system to be able to handle all this kind of tools, right? Like some developer, like they start to come up with the quick solutions, right? They will start like to create a code for each API or like for each tool. And that's it's hard. Like if you cannot we cannot scale our app because like we like I wanna like a GitHub or a SQL database, like right? That's time like the developer they will create function based on each tool we have. So that means our code base will be large, right? So if our code base is large, it's hard to modify, hard to scale it, and hard to replace it with another functions, right? And then the MCP it comes, right? Like many developers start to say like MCP is zippier for AI, right? If someone like been familiar with using Zapier for AI, you will see like for example like a Google Sheet. In the Zapier, if you go to take a look, you will find a function for editing, a function for writing, a function for like removing etc. Right? And MCP is like doing the same things. Like they will do a mini test, like edit, remove, writing, and so on. And also during my like research, I see like in the Twitter, if you've been following LangChain, they are like a vote in X, right? Where like with the almost like developer, they are being creating a question like asking the AI community, right? Like they are asking if MCP is flash in a pen or a future standard. I would like to ask you guys like the same questions, like what do you think about MCP? Is the future is like just a flash of the pen? What do you think, guys? There's an idea like what do you think? MCP is just it's just like flash on the pen or like just like a future standard? Do you believe in MCP is the future or not? A future standard. Okay. Another like there is any thought on it? Like there is any thought? Optimistic. Yeah, everybody like optimistics. It's ramp toward the future. Right. Yeah. Okay. Like almost like me also like I'm thinking that MCP is the future. Like and also if you see like the LangChain and your vote, like 14 like 0.8% of the people believe that MCP was the future of standard, and 25.8% believe that MCP was like just a flash in the pain. And the remain of the people, like 33.4%, choose to wait and see. But actually, in this time, like we wait and see, and we see a lot of like YouTubers, a lot of big bloggers, like everyone, and like everyone speak about MCP. Me either, like I was speaking about MCP and I get nice result. Like really, like some articles is getting viral, like in Medium, and then like if you see like before MCP and after MCP, like before MCP, like you see the LLMs, like they are connected directly to the Slack, Google Drive, like GitHubs, like your database. This is not good, like to be honest with you, and like we cannot scale it. We cannot scale. And then like the MCP like it came up like all our tools it's gonna be like connected to the MCP, and the MCP connected to our tools, and then they will be like a circle back. They will play like that. LLMs hate the MCP, and MCP hate the tools, and tool respond back, and MCP they will be respond back to LLM, and LLM generates the the answer. And then the MCP like solving a problem which is like big pain point in the AI developers. Like one of like the solution that I've been discussing in the previous like specific connector. Like you see, like everyone has their connects, which we cannot like if I want to use like GitHub, I suppose I like Slack, I need to have a key for it, which is it's not good. It's supposed to have one key used for every of them. And then like also it's like separately multiple tools and like services. And also like absolutely when you have many tools connect, you use one key and connect to the locker. It's easy. It's gonna be dynamically. Any kind of tools is coming to the next. They have one key, and one key is open the door for all our LLMs. And the most part as well like data privacy, as like the people who has the companies like they care about the data privacy, right? And the MCP it's coming in hand. It's promising when it's coming to two agents like speaking together, right? They kind of communicate in a better way instead of like I don't want to mention like too early function calling, but instead of a function calling which is just hit one time and then you need human manually to do so. And also I would like to share like useful link for everybody like who interested about MCP and me either when I trying to create any app on application, I go directly to that website and scroll it and find what I want. Like you see, I would be introducing like the open source. It's called Glama. I hope I pronounce it right. Like if you see, like if you are interested about MCP, MCP, you kind of came to here, right? And when you came to here, you will find all you want, like research, MCP, developer, like Python, anything came to your mind to you. You have a click, and you will directly like to the like GitHub source where you will like to use it. And also you can use it with like Cloud, Windsurf, Coursera, and client. And just use that, and then you can be using it. And also like there is some like actually I don't use this often, but I use only the code because I don't go for like a cloud or like any kind of platform that we use in it. But I use like almost of Pythons, and now I start to be interested in another programming. If you see like if you've been following me in my YouTube channels, I will see like I'll be creating the apps, but actually where they are coming from, it's coming the MCP is coming from here because I want to save my I want to save my time, and creating some like application it takes time, and I need more easy, quick to pick up. And we came to here, and I trying to find what I'm interested in. Like sometimes like just I will write like whip search, and then they will give me a lot of stuff. And then we came to here and click on it, and then I will see if this I cannot find a code or not. But usually we find the code for that. They will provide the code, and then you use this code and just implement in your applications. And like you say, we have been search MCP servers, like the images servers as well, and so on. And feel free to check it out. And also, I would like to show you like if you go to the GitHub and you type like you see like, like I don't know if you see my screen. I would be sharing. Mm. You were seeing my screen, right? What I've been
Yeah, we were
changing the
we
code.
were able to see, but right now I guess you just started to show.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was expecting you don't see it, so I was like double checking.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can see
And
the.
also, like, if you go to a GitHub and search like for MCP, I would suggest you to use like MCP tool you it's MCP awesome, where we have a lot of links. Where usually I will go there and I will scroll it. I will see what's happening, or what's like AI community being created. I just adapt or I use their code in my applications. Like we see with MCP awesome, and we found a lot like. You see, yes, and here, we find all the MCP, the code that you be interested on. You just scroll and see what you are interested in, and we find knowledge, finance, all you are wanted to use, and then just use it in your application. And also later, I will show you how we can use the MCP as well, and also we can use a function call, a function like a web search with it. Mm. Do you have like any question before we move to the next about the MCP? Like any kind of thought you feel confused, or you want to clarify, or you need more explanations, that would be nice.
Maybe we still need to know how it works. It's internal.
Uh, yes, that would be like we'll be showing it in the code. So that will be have a more understanding and overview of how it's works. Because when you see the code and you see how I implement it, you will have a really better understanding.
Okay.
Like any guys or anyone has any kind of question about MCP before we move the MCP and the function calling. Nobody?
Well, can I ask what you're showing on the screen? Because you're showing a lot of different resources, let's say Gmail, calendar.
Yes.
The next one maybe Slack or
Yes.
Google Maps, Figma. Those are all resources, you could say, to a large language model.
Yes.
So are you, with this photo, can we understand MCP as the key to the locks to unlock those resources?
Here I'm in this picture is a problem that we've been facing before, right? Like if you see that each tool has their own key, right?
Okay, yeah, I see what you're
You
saying.
understand what I want to say? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like if we have each tool for our key, okay, let's meet you and you. We are friends, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we have a room, right? We have a room, right? But this room we have different key for it, right? I want to use
Mm-hmm.
your tool, but I can't. You want to use my tool, I can't because we have different key, right? How about that? If I have one code, one key, did I can use your tool and also you can use mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense, right? Instead, we
Yeah.
have different key. I can't use your tool and you cannot use mine. But if we have one common key, we can use any tool. It's coming, right? It's coming in the future, right? This was MCP. Instead of like doing separator, like separate each tool, help us to make all any kind of tool you want to put in the future in your application, we're gonna put it in one box. And this box is gonna be used by one tool, which is called MCP. And MCP able to open this box and use any tools. You understand the idea, right?
Yes. That's awesome.
Does anyone have any question? Because it's really important. We cannot clarify before we move to the next, because the more we move to the next, the more information, the more questions that are coming. But let's verify here, then we move to the next.
There are two quick questions in the chat. One person was asking if you could go back to the previous slide quickly. Don't know if
Which,
they have a specific question. Yeah, this one.
yeah,
So
could
I
you
don't know
please
if
provide a relative precise definition for MCP using terminology of computer science? Using the computer science. Okay. Mm. Oh, it's a good question when you use the computer science, but if okay, we can use like MCP is open protocols. Like in this, it's like in a lot of computer science, we say like standardized, like standardized, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I can explain it in the computer science way because I'm usually simplified it in the way how I understand it to make it easier for another people who is not from computer science background to understand. But actually, if you want definitions like for like technical stuff, like I would suggest you to go to the like web research, like or like any kind of article they have more technical background they are explaining it. But like for me, I try to understand it in the simplest way without computer science background. I don't have this kind of question. I didn't prepare for it, but I just prepare how I can explain it in a better way. We kind of rephrase the questions. We kind of say what is the MCP in the better way to understand it. That I will be a perfect balance coming to computer science, technicals, and all that kind of stuff. I didn't prepare for that. I prepared for simplicity. we have a most important like slides, like a lot of people, they are confused in like what is different between MCP and function calling, right? Okay, like uh, can it like it is anyone like been building a lot of like API as a function calling, and what was the big problem that you face? Like any thoughts about that when you are building like a function calling? What the big problem that you face?
It's too complex and too tedious to implement.
Okay, like how about that? When you use your function calling, how about using the prompt? Is the prompt like you think it's like more strict, more like structured, more limited to your answer instead of general? What do you think, guys? When you are using a prompt and as a function call, right? Like if we want to use like we've been building like some chatbot and been using function calling, and function calling is gonna be part defined by large language models, right? But you create any prompt and you feel it is like strict, or you cannot like have more tools or not. Do you come up with this problem? If yes or not? Let do it. Okay, like the MCP and difference between function calling. Like function calling, in my experience, I've been building like function calling for a long time, and the big problem that I've been facing it like is like strict prompting. Like I want to prompting for specific domain, and I will tell him some instructions to follow, but if I want him to do another stuff, I need to do it manually, right? Because I'm giving in the instructions to follow what I've been saying. And was the big problem. And also like the function calling, when you are like creating the tools, you are calling it one by one. Actually, there is a solution for that when you're using the agentic RAG, which the agentic RAG it's gonna play as a rule for managing this kind of like of this tool, uh, right? And we cannot do that. But usually I don't recommend this because there's many technique and many way that we can use instead of just using agentic RAG. Because when you are using agentic RAG, you need to add more prompt, and this prompt will be changeable. It's not flexible. Yeah, I know it's more controllable. You can control all your system. You play with it in your term. But if you want to make it like scalable, like and you do more stuff coming in the future, a function calling is like we kind of say it's like strict to your prompt and your structure, because like the large language model, it will be calling the function calling, and function calling is like part defined by the large language model, and then they will be generated the output structure, and then they will give you the answer. And then MCP. MCP, if you like see the diagram, like every tool we have is connected to our MCP, right? And like we kind of see like MCP as like I said before is like a toolbox where we have a lot of tools that help us to do a many tasks that we are using in our chatbot. And also this is gonna be like an automated way, which a lot of agents be involving in completing a text instead of function calling, big calling by large language model and then generate it. And also it's high flexible and we can scale it. And you want to tell me like, oh, Dalie, I want to use, okay, I just want to use the API and I will invoke it and I generate it. Yes, I am totally agree with you. I don't, there is no problem with it. But as developer in the mindset, we're always thinking about user experience, right? And two things which is important if you've been developing a chatbot. The first thing is the speed, right? And the second thing, which is the accuracy. Okay, let's say you said, okay, I just want to use the API. I don't want to create anything. I don't want to use MCP, or I don't want to use anything. I just want to use API and then invoke it, and then I will check it the answer. Yes. Okay. Here is the thing. You go to the public API, right? I will go to public API, but keep in mind, in this public API, is behind it a lot of functions, right? When we have a lot of function behind our API, do you think LLMs, they gonna be recognize all the step of that function? They will not, because a lot of function behind this API, right? The API cannot deeper in this function and take the all the API like a retriever. They will not. They will just take the last endpoint of data, will retrieve what they get. But our developer, we need this kind of thinking about latency. And then the latency, because there is a lot of function, they will wait a lot. And when you are waiting, the chatbot need more time to generate the answer. And also behind of that function, they are missing information when you are retrieve your answer. And here is like some like when to use the function calling and when to use the MCP. Like we want to use the MCP if we have like a lot of tools, then we can be using the MCP. It's a good thing for using a bunch of tools that will be using at the agentic way that can be automated to achieve a certain task. But the function calling, you can only respond like a request response system is a simple thing. One API, hit it, back your informations. This was like a main use. What I want to say, MCP is a tool, a lot of function, a lot of agent, they will cooperate to complete a task. Using function calling is only one function or one API. You want to hit it, and then you will be respond your answer. But keep in mind, also the MCP, it's stored in the memory. Before was has a big problem in the memory, right? We want our chatbot that like has long conversation memory. Function calling cannot do that. You cannot hit our long memory. But MCP, it's gonna help us to retrieve long conversation memory. Because why? Here is the thing: a function calling is like a statics limited, but like MCP as a video is in ongoing conversations. You understand what I mean? Like we can use MCP. Here is the thing, like I came up with my like okay, there has MCP and they have communications, right? When the communications, like there is like a history. I want to take this history. I need some agent able to understand when I write my query. I need to tell him, I need to remember my history. And the MCP built this in mind, and it has a memory of that, and then retrieve your memory, which a function call cannot do that.
Just a quick question
Yeah, of
before we
course.
move on. On the left, I think I'm hearing a lot of the features you're talking about associated with the function call,
Uh,
including
Yeah, I
smaller
think
stuff.
I switch it, like supposed
Oh,
to be
okay.
a
No
function call
problem.
in here and
Okay.
MCP is here. It just like
Okay. Function call on the left, MCP on the right.
yes,
Got it. Thank you.
the yeah, because like a single step operation, I can't modify it now. Okay, this side we kind of say the left side is function calling. I'm sorry for that. This is like some like the single, when you see the single step operation is a function calling. When you see a multi-step workflow, it's a MCP. We'll make it clear, right?
Yes.
Okay, we go. Okay, but here is the thing. A function call cannot be separated from MCP, and MCP cannot be separated from a function call, because here is the thing. MCP is a lot of function calling inside. You got me what I mean? Like, it's like that's the kind of be implemented like each other. For example, function calling can be used inside MCP client to process model structure or output, right? FCP is like the agent, but we need the creator functions, right? The functions to be able to manage this kind of function. So that means in our mind, the function calling is inside the MCP. Without function calling, the MCP cannot work because we need a function that our agenting able to communicate with them. And here is the thing: when I put it in the read line, like MCP is a superset of function calling, because while configuring MCP, you do use function calling, right? Because I want to create functions, like I want to create like some web research, and also I want to be more details. I want to be that kind of web research, be more formatting, and also will be certain of the link want to be retrieved. But I don't want to like anything coming from my web search coming to me and give it to me. No, I need to create more function to filter this kind of stuff. That will I be showing later. Do you have any question about MCP on function call before we move to the next? We move because, okay, here is the thing, MCP and RAG. MCP or RAG is never gonna compete. It's never gonna compete, never. We can answer the question later because I think the time is running. Okay, the MCP and RAG, they will never compete with each other. They are completing each other. Why? MCP is a system, but RAG is a tool inside the MCP, right? If you see what I've been noting here, like the RAG they want to use for like entropy, like they have a policy, they want a more accurate answers, but the MCP cannot be using that because the MCP is just a tool to manage the agenting and the workflow to do so. But if you see my note here, the RAG is more suitable for scenario where information need to be keep up to date and accurate, such as in entropy chatbot need to answer a question related to the product or the servers. And MCP is suitable for scenarios that require large language model to perform complex operation, which means there's a lot of agenting. It's going to be coming in hand in one group to complete the search syntax, where the agent might need to call external tool to complete check. It's what I've been saying before, like it's like MCP is calling for a tool and RAG is retrieving the relative informations. So that's when they will never be compete. They all be work together hand in hand. And here is like some I've been like saying like the MCP is an AI agent. Can you use the MCP to call retrieve a tool like such as web scraper, and you can name it, and then integrate retriever information into generate response through a RAG, like thereby achieving more powerful capability. And that is really correct, and I've been using it. Like we use like MCP, and then a lot of tools, a lot of we can say a lot of different. Okay, here is the thing. We have a marketing industry, right? A marketing we need to help us to analyze our competitors. When we want to analyze our competitor, we need to get the information from the web. That's including analyze the competitors, the last news, and then we're gonna be using it in our campaign, right? And that's been used by the RAG, which able to retrieve for all our information like competitor or analyze, and then MCP it's coming. MCP, what he gonna do? He gonna be creating a post for us and schedule it. When he schedule it, he will post it in a social media. You see where they are MCP and RAG, they are working together. RAG retrieve the competitors, analyze the latest news, and MCP use this kind of information to create a post and schedule to post in the social media. You see, there's a good combinations. And then we'll be going to the code project, like a code demo. The OpenAI embedding, we want to like get all the links to we are getting all the links to push it, to feed it into the embedding, right? And then when we gather all of them, we do a chonic. And then when we do a chonic, because we get information, we use the chonics, and then the chonics will be much easier for embedding to handle, right? And then we split the document, and then we use the embeddings. And the embedding, like, they will embed all our content. You see, like the first functions is easy to understand, right? Calling the OpenAI embedding, gather the information, like tonic the process, and then we embedding all the content, right? And then we wanna create a RAG from a document, right? We also use the embeddings, right? And then with Chonics, it's the same. And then we split it, and then we document it. You understand what I do? The first one is just for links. When you are getting the links from a website, you came with a lot of information, but we need to get a most related links to our query. And when we get that, we need to have another function where they create RAG for our so that means they get all the information from the web. We get the links, and then when we get it, we get the information, and then we have another RAG which is take the information instead of taking the links, and then they will retrieve our document. So like two steps of the RAG: the first for the links and the second for the document. And then they will come for research with the third RAG. The third RAG, now we have a RAG for the links, and we have a RAG for content, and we need to have one for research for our query. They will research for that. Like you see, research RAG system with the query. And then they will have a similar, right? They will find a similarity. Like we give it k equal 3. And then we take the query, and then we take a 3 time. And we have the MCP server. Okay, here is the MCP, right? The MCP I've been creating, like for MCP for web search. Like, you know, I need to do a web search to get the informations from the web. And if you see, like we have been creating search web tools, we are using like Fireclaw API, which is really more powerful in the industry when it's coming to large language model, but it's like it's not open source, it's a paid source. So you can use that. What I've been doing here, like you see, a research where I've been searching, if doesn't find any result, then we can be return that, and then we'll be creating function to filter all of them, and then a RAG. So what I've been telling you before, I've been discussing the function RAG. So here you take all the web research, but it's the RAG, it's coming. When it's coming, you need to take the links and create help me to retrieve the most accurate or the most relevant links. And then when he did, and when it's finished, we give it to find a similarity. And then will be also I need to create the formatted search result. And if you see, that is for formatting, and he will be formatting our research. Here's like Git web content tool. They will be getting the content also from the, okay, the first getting the links, but after we get the link, we need to press it. When we press it, we have information, and then we need to get the information from here. And when he get the information from the link, he will maybe sometimes they will not be successful, and I need to do some like accept and try because the backend side, and then he will be, if there is no able to retrieve, he will be back unable to retrieve web. But sometimes, like like MCP, there is some issues about the timing. The more you will be hitting, the more they will be stuck in the servers, and also I will need to be knowing that. And then and if you see here, like I've been searched the web using XP API and regional formatting and the real result, and you see like hitting XP API, and that we have maybe research the content, and they will be doing it as a query and the main point and the key takeaways. And also they'll be formatting, and also they have like some exhibitions because we are the backend mode, and also like format search result. If not also there will be no result found in. And that also you need to keep in mind it's really important when it's coming to the RAG. We need to do a markdown. The markdown is much favorite way by a large language model. If your content at the markdown result is more perfect, it's really good for large language model to understand it better in another format, in like PDF or like docs or whatever. So the most favorite like way is a markdown for large language model, and because they've been training on the markdown files. And also, if you see here, we enumerate, we look for each, like we have like population date, titles, real and market result as well. And then we go for the next functions, like get the web and convert document to the list. And also we've been using create file crawl loader instead, and then he will be doing that, and that will be protections for timing out, and with return result if the document relative successfully, and also will retrieve no document but no exhibitions as well, and wait for the second. And also will be handle request exhibition as well, because like servers, we need to be careful about like the timings. And also they will be like trying many times, like the max like how many times he will be retrieving the informations, and then they will make a return the empty list if there are results failed. And then the APIs like formattings and so on. And then we go for the main. The main, we have a Streamlit, and when we have a Streamlit, like you will see, we are hitting the run search and RAG as well. He will be doing all the function that we are been speaking about it. And also you will see they are showing the progress and the research steps, and then they will extract the links. And then when they extract the links, they will create a RAG for it. When they create the RAG for it, he will do a research RAG for it. When they do a research RAG, and he will be like clear and progress when you are hitting the next query. And that's all my coding. And also, like I've been facing, like there is the API issues I could have run it to show you, but I've been cover it in my YouTube channel. If you would like, I have a super quick tutorial showing you how to create a multi-agent chatbot using LangChain product. Mistral Small 3.1 was released, and it's here was my chat demo. If you take a look, so let me give you a quick demo of a live chatbot to show you what I mean. I will ask the chatbot a question. Get the latest news about LLMs. Feel free to ask any questions you want. If you look at how the chatbot generates the output, you will see that when a user enters a query, the agent searches the web, extracts URLs, fetches the full content of those pages asynchronously, and splits the content into manageable chunks. These chunks are embedded using Mistral AI or Ollama embedding. Feel free to use any embedding you want and store it in a 5-vector database for fast semantic retrieval. One of the problems I faced was that when we wrapped our search and RAG functions as MCP tools, we ran into errors like attempted to exit cancel scope in a different task than it was entered in, and closed resource error. MCP couldn't properly handle the async connections needed for web searches. The way I solved this was by modifying the code to create fresh connections for each tool call instead of maintaining long-lived connections. This isolated each operation in its context. Then it performs a RAG-based search to return the most relevant information from the fetched content alongside traditional search results. All core functions like search web, get web content, create RAG, and search RAG are wrapped with error handling and can run independently or through a fast MCP-powered server with real-time interaction via server-sent events. So by the end of this video,
yeah, this was the demo for this code, and you've been seeing it how it's work. Now we go for the last part, like about my tools. I feel like MCP is like find the space for the AI community, and a lot of companies that are involving in that. They create their own MCP servers, and also they are help us to reduce the time consuming and like better the way how the agent communicate, and also being in the concern of the companies also they protect the privacy of the companies, and also it's been a closed loop for return back for hating like as a loop closing, where they will be turned in the same cycle from the LLMs, MCP, and tools, and then back to LLM, MCP, and then tools, MCP, and then LLM, which consider a private, which consider like the security of the enterprise. Guys, if you have any kind of questions, like feel free, then we can discuss any question that come in your mind, and we can answer all your questions.